guys, and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, then hello! Finally, we have a new video out, and honestly, you can thank my mother for that. She saw that I was setting up this new habitat for a new reptile that I got, and she was like, hey, why don't you film this? And I was like, that's actually a great idea. I always feel like I'm burnt out because I've just been working so much, but I always push through, and now I can finally introduce you guys to my new geckos. So geckos come in all shapes and sizes, but this has to be the absolute smallest reptile I've ever seen. These are my new micro geckos, or what some people might also call pygmy geckos, dwarf geckos, or sand geckos. Their scientific name, I'm not really able to pronounce properly. I believe it's Tropicolotes or Tropiocolotis. And then the last part of it, I can't pronounce. I'm actually just gonna put it on the screen here. I'm not even gonna try. There's a few different species as to what some people may consider micro geckos, but members in the genus Tropicolotes max out at about 2 inches, give or take. The ones I got are a little small and can still probably grow a little bit more. People are probably wondering, what on earth do you feed such a small reptile? The answer to that is microcrickets. Microcrickets can be hard to find, and the ones that I get through my work, and they're about 1/8 of an inch. You can also feed them flightless fruit flies, but it shouldn't be the main part of their diet. If you're unable to get these small-sized crickets where you live, then you may want to reconsider getting this as a pet. Apparently, they are from North Africa and the Middle East, in places that are more sandy and have rocky areas that they can escape to from the harsh heat. Due to the climate that they are from, they do prefer a hotter basking area of around 90 to 95, but I've heard that they can even handle up to 105 degrees Fahrenheit. But I'm gonna try to imitate as much of their natural habitat as possible when I'm doing this setup. I just wanna note that this habitat is only temporary until they grow a little bit more for me and I feel that they are more established. And then I have a slightly larger habitat right here that I'm gonna set up for them in the future. When it comes to enclosure size, there is a lot of different information out there as to what the best size enclosure is for these guys. Some people keep bigger groups of this species and have them in quite substantially sized habitats, but I was also reading that people with smaller groups have success keeping them in 5 to 10 gallon setups. I only have a trio of these guys to kind of start out with and see how they do. Regardless, they do best in groups, and I wouldn't recommend keeping just one. They are considered to be nocturnal, although I have seen them active in all parts of the day, which is really interesting. I am still learning about this species and reading up on every article that I can find about them, but also hoping to learn more along the way. If you like this video, then be sure to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see updates on my pets and videos like this in the future. So here are the supplies I'm going to be using for this build. Here I have some air plants that I picked up, just a small water dish, a really nice piece of spider wood, and for substrate I'm using Stone Desert by Exoterra. I absolutely love this substrate and I used it for my Egyptian tortoise. Some other nice decorations like this buffalo skull and some cork flats for shelter. This is an enclosure I started off with, and it's by this company here. It's not a company I'm entirely familiar with, but we were using these enclosures at work and I really liked them, so I had it special ordered, as it's not really a brand that I find in stores, but I love how secure the lids are on these enclosures so that I know there's no place for these tiny geckos to escape. I'm just gonna peel off these stickers here. I hate when the glue residue of these is left on the glass, but just some isopropyl alcohol and a rag can easily take it off. I'm gonna start off by pouring in the substrate. I think in the future habitat, I might mix in some soil with this. I've been a fan of mixing substrates lately, as I feel it can really help to mimic a more natural habitat. This should be okay for now though. Now for the fun part, which is adding in all the decor. I'm such a fan of spiderwood and I just love the way it looks. The top of it stuck out a bit, so I just broke off some of those small pieces and just added it to the bottom of the enclosure. Now it can close more easily. I'm adding this small cork flat to the back and dug under it so they have a place to hide under. Next, I'm adding the buffalo skull, which they can also use as a hide, and I'm just gonna put that in the back corner here. Next up is the water dish. I felt the water dish was kind of obstructing the view of the skull, so I added more of the substrate in the back corner to help kind of elevate the view of the skull. Now for the final touches, I'm just going to tuck these air plants into place here. Adding some leaf litter from some dried oak leaves I've collected, and I'm going to just crumple them up and spread it around like that basically. Going to quickly just tuck some moss underneath that buffalo skull there to kind of make a bit of a moist hide. It really looks nice for something that I felt was a really simple setup. I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. I felt that the water dish was too big for them, so I added a rock into it for now until I come across something a bit smaller, but I also want it to look natural as well, so I'll have to see what I come across in the future. For lighting, I'm using Zoomed's Nano Dome, and I'm using a combo of one of the nano basking bulbs and a UVB bulb. Even though they're nocturnal, I was reading of the benefits of having over-the-head lighting and UVB as opposed to a heat map for these guys, so I went this route instead. Now it's time to add the geckos. Here's my trio of geckos I just got. I tried to grab some that all looked a little bit different. One of them even has this hint of orange coming through and it looks so nice. I put them in by just scooting them ahead of the container I had them in, right into their new habitat. And it looks like they're already curious about their new home and went right to exploring. I'm really happy with how the short-term habitat turned out and so happy that I finally did a video on this species. I'll hopefully get around to doing an update video on these guys in the future in about a few months or so to show everyone their progress. Don't forget to check out my other social media, which you can find through all my links, which I have in the description box down below. Thank you guys again so much for watching this video, and I will see you all next time.